Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Kira Davis, and you're watching The Orange Report. Bring on the sunshine. Welcome to The Orange Report, everybody. I am so glad you could join us again this week. Thank you for all the great support we've been getting out there. We've been being hit left and right with stories from across Orange County. So we've got a number that we're working on, including some stories on harassment going on around our county. Actually, before I get started today, though, let me ask you guys to do this. If you are somebody who goes to your city council meetings, first of all, thank you. But if you go to your city council meetings and you see a consistent harassment element, left-wing progressive element, that seem like they're people from outside of your community, I would love for you to just reach out to this address that you see on the screen and let us know. Let us know what you see. Just describe it. Or if you want to take video, you can do that. It's a public forum, so you're allowed to take video in a public forum. It's important to note, not everybody knows this, California is a two-party consent state. So if you're going to film somebody, you either have to be in public where there's no reasonable expectation of privacy, or you need their permission first. So just keep that in mind. But city council meetings, you can film. And tell me what you see. Tell me what you see. I'm working on a story about the organized resistance, hashtag resistance here in Orange County. There's just a lot of shady stuff going on in this county, and no one ever thinks about us because, I don't know, it's so sunny. We're, you know, a lot of us are upper class or upper middle class. You know, we sort of have that reputation for being the Orange County housewives and, you know, convertibles, even though no one in Orange County drives a convertible, but convertibles and surfer guys and skater boys and all of that stuff. And I guess people think because it's sunshine and it's the land of Hollywood and entertainment that, and because Orange County is considered a red county, people think we don't have these things going on here, but we do. There's an organized effort to topple the conservative majority here in Orange County. It's been going on for as long as I've lived here. It's almost 2 decades, but it's really ramped up. So I think we need to call this out, and we need to address it. We need to make this public. We need to bring it to light. I've been talking a lot about this on my other platforms and the other work I do. By the way, please go follow me everywhere. At Kira Davis on X and just Kira Davis on Instagram. But, you know, I've been saying this everywhere, and I want to say it to you today before we move on to some of our other stories. It is incumbent upon you to tell the truth. It is incumbent upon you to stand up when you see something that's wrong and to say something. Because if you don't say anything, if you just let the wrong thing go on without mentioning it, I'm not expecting you to march down there with handcuffs and do citizens arrests. But if you let these things, whatever it is, this untruth that you see, that a boy can be a girl, or, you know, that these fake resistors at city council meetings, whatever you see that's untrue, if you don't stand up and say what you know to be true, you are giving the lie permission. Lies require permission to be told, and they require permission to be heard, right? So you're giving lies and liars permission. You're giving the enemy permission. So this is why it's important. It matters. I wrote a book in 2022 when I was running for school board here in Capital Unified District in South Orange County. And I was running for the school district. I wrote a book at that time. It's called Drawing Lines, Why Conservatives Must Begin to Battle Fiercely in the Arena of Ideas. And I started the book because when I was running for school board, a lot of people out here in Orange County, a lot of conservatives and Republicans especially, told me I sounded too crazy. And I sounded like I was too much. And I was trying to tell them about the DEI and the CRT and the trans stuff. And they're giving our girls chest binders in schools, and they got tampons in the boys' bathroom. And no one believed me. And everyone said, calm down, Kara, you're scaring people. It's too much. But I wrote the book because I said, no, if someone doesn't say what the very obvious truth is, someday no one will know what the very obvious truth is. Someday the very obvious truth will begin to sound like a lie. This is your job, to tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And here in Orange County, we're very comfortable, too comfortable. A lot of us, especially who are finished raising our kids and who are now moved on to grandkids, yeah, you're worried about what your kids are going to have in the future, but you're not desperate, right? Because you've earned what you have. It's there now. You have your property, you have your cars, your kids are already through school. But there's a whole bunch of us out here who are trying to earn the California dream the way that you did. And we can only do it by being uncomfortable. There's no comfort for us. We don't get that. We missed that. It was taken from us before we could even try to go grab it. But I don't believe it's gone. I believe it's still there. I believe in it for my kids. I believe in it for you kids. Everybody is in this. Everybody has to start telling the truth. Even if you think you don't have a stake in this, be a good American and stand up for me. Be a good American and stand up for your neighbor. This is your job. Before I move on, I'll say I said this at our luncheon. We had Michael Gates. We had Michael Gates speaking at our ladies' lunches. Southern California Area Republican Women, SCAR W, President Judy Joseph. Hey, ladies, that's my club. If you want to join that club, we have lots of room for new members, and we have a special Melania tier. That's sort of a premier tier. That's where I am. So join me over there. But we meet once a month, and you can go find them. But Michael Gates was speaking to us, and before he spoke, I got up and I took the mic and I told everyone the story about my father-in-law, Victor Davis, who is one of the wisest and kindest and most godly men I know. And I asked him once, he was a pastor in the inner city for 50 years, and I said, how do you do this? How do you keep doing this? You see the same people over and over again. They come through the church. They take advantage of all the help offered. Oftentimes, Dad would come out of his pocket personally and might do well for a little while and then go away and just end up right back where they started. And it's frustrating. You hate to see people making the same dumb choices over and over again. So I asked him, how do you do this? How can you keep going back to this job knowing that the help and the kindness you offer people is just squandered? And he told me this. I have never forgotten it. And I hope that you will always remember this as well. He said, I do it because I know that it's not my job to save anybody. That job belongs to Jesus. My only job is to serve. And that's how I look at everything these days. It's easy for us to put everything on our shoulders and say it's our job to save Prop 13. It's our job to, repel the gas tax. It's our job to fix our school boards. It's our job to change California and win the governor's mansion. It's our job. It's our job. No, your job is not to save California. Because you can. And if you take that onto your own individual shoulders, it's going to drive you crazy. Your job isn't to save California. Your job is to serve California. And you can serve California by telling the truth. Among all the other things that you do, your petitions, your meetings, your candidate forums, everything, all of that counts. But don't burden yourself with the idea that it is up to you and you alone to save this state. Only God knows what the future is for us, but it is your job to serve. So go do your job. All right, let's get started. I want to talk a little bit about our governor's race before I move on to a very disturbing story happening here in Orange County at one of our high schools regarding the TPUSA club. You're not going to want to miss this. I have been in touch with the school board. But I do want to say a couple things about the governor's race. It's heating up. Gloves are off. I know a lot of you have seen the video of Chad Bianco this week, and I don't want to use this show so much to promote one candidate or the other. It's not a secret who I'm supporting, and most of you probably saw that Chad video from my account. So I don't want to make that a secret, but I don't want to make this a platform necessarily for extolling the virtues of one candidate or the other. For quite a while, I've stayed out of this conversation publicly because I like Chad. As a parent and an activist, somebody who ran in 2022, I know exactly what he stands for. When parents and moms say they love Chad, what they mean is, they love a lot of the work he did through COVID when no one was speaking for us or standing with us. And so I've known of Chad through all of that time and thought that his main goal was to serve California. And of course, I've known Steve for a very long time and believed his main goal is also to serve California. And so I believed we had two viable candidates. There are none others. I think everybody should stop If anybody is out there pitching alternative Republican governor candidates, you're on the Democrat side, stop. Okay, because there's no way anyone can win at this point. Ballots are being printed right now, all right? Ballots are being printed. So there's no way a third Republican candidate can win, right? Anybody who is pushing a third Republican candidate is doing the work of the Democrats at this point. We know this. The math, it does not math. But I thought it was fair to ask to just lay off and let people make their own choices. I knew what choice mine was, but I wasn't going to influence anyone's decision. But I've seen enough. I've seen enough. And I've sat in meetings and watched Chad go negative first. I've seen it and still held my fire because I think everyone still should give these two candidates a fair shake. Let them fight it out in the arena of ideas. But again, I think I have seen enough. And here is what I think. There's not enough Republicans and registered Republicans in the state of California to push two through the jungle primaries. I know a lot of you are out there dreaming because you see Steve and Chad 1 and 2. Don't believe the polls that have Chad on top. Those are Democrat polls that come from the Swalwell campaign. You should ask yourself why the Swalwell campaign would promote one candidate over another. So I know you see those polls and you say to yourself, gosh, wouldn't it be great if we had two Republicans? Then our problems are solved. All right, let's just break down this logic for a second. Because most of you who are telling me that it's imperative, Kira, we got to get two Republicans through. And it looks like this could happen. You're the same people who will tell me there's no way I'm voting early. And I'm not going to listen to the OC GOP when they tell me to go vote early because the mail-in ballot system is rigged. And I can't trust it. You can't have both. You have to pick a lane. You either think that the system is hopelessly corrupt or you think there's a way to beat the system. I think there's a way to beat the system. I do think it's corrupt, but not hopelessly. And I do think there's a way to beat the system. But beating the system is not going to mean two Republicans pushing through the jungle primary. Let me break it down for you some more. Democrats own the governor's mansion, the legislature. Need I remind you, they are a supermajority, and they own nearly every county registrar's office across the state. And it's legal to count votes that are mailed 7 days after Election Day. All they have to do is look at the numbers and then decide how many they need to make up to make sure that two Republicans don't go through. Is anybody seriously out there trying to tell me, no, Kira, I'm not going to send in my ballot early because it's just going to get stolen anyway. But yeah, somehow the Democrats are going to let two Republicans push through the jungle primaries? No, the math doesn't math. It cannot work. There are 10 million registered Democrats in this state. There's about 5.5 registered Republicans. If two Republicans split the Republican vote, that's less than 50, and you'd have to hope that they would split it right down the middle too. So 25, 2.5 million votes, base votes for either, we don't know what the left is going to do, what lefties are going to come over and vote for them, but that's totally unpredictable. You can't base any polls off of that. When it comes to electoral polling, you have to go with what the base is going to do. We don't have enough base. Even if every single person, every single registered Republican in California went to the polls to vote for one or the other of the Republicans, neither of them is going to get enough of the portion of that vote to beat what the top Democrat is going to have. It cannot happen. The math does not math. And then you have the cheating on top of that. So I just think this is unrealistic. And this is why we have the jungle primaries. You understand this, right? The jungle primary is a cheat for the parliamentary system. Because liberals are always telling us, oh, the parliamentary people, they have it. They do it right. They have so many more choices. No, take it from someone who grew up in a socialist parliamentary country. It's an inferior system and it only ends in chaos. And but liberals, oh, the parliamentary system, this is their version. This is what a parliamentary system is. So this is our version of it. And they do it because coupled with gerrymandering, and now add the mail-in ballot fiasco, coupled with paired with all of that, partnered with all of that. What it does is it makes Republicans weaker. None of this makes Democrat weaker. None of them. None of it. Right? Since we got the jungle primary 20 years ago, it's been a Democrat supermajority, hasn't it? That's what they did to us with the jungle primary. And they knew they could keep doing it to us forever because we were never going to figure it out. And I look at some of you out there and I think, yeah, we're never going to figure it out. We're never going to figure out this game. It sucks. It's not fair. It's not fair that we have to be doing this to each other. That's what they want. The thing that we can do to beat it is unite behind one candidate, do the thing that they don't expect us to do. Throw everything behind one candidate before the jungle primary. Throw all our money before the jungle primary. We don't make the only two viable candidates waste all their money on each other. All right, so I think I've made that case very well. Now, a lot of you are out there saying, well, Kira, then why should it be Steve? Why can't it be Chad? If I thought Chad was going to be the good candidate to go up there and win, I'd be telling you that this is his race and everyone needs to get behind him. But I've seen enough. He can't win. He can't win the polls. He couldn't even show up at the debate. You know, that's really what did it for me, that he didn't show up at that debate. Because there was a lot, if I was on his campaign team, I'd be nervous about that because Hilton had a lot to say about him. And he had no answer for it. And a gubernatorial candidate has to have an answer. They have to be able to stand in front of combative people or people who are going to ask them uncomfortable questions, and they have to have an answer. And he wasn't even there to answer. That was a big deal. That's a big deal. Big deal to other people, big deal to me. And then this other video hit, and he took almost 2 days to answer the immigration video as well. I'm not even saying that any candidate is perfect or that he can't have decent or good answers for it. But what I am saying is those two things took a lot of wind out of his sails. Furthermore, he has not proven that he can stand on a stage and debate. And he's going to have to do a debate with a Democrat candidate that has the full weight of the California government and the, media complex behind them. I think we all saw Steve in that debate, and he was incredibly impressive. I've seen the sheriff speak numerous times, a dozen or more over the years, and I've always enjoyed him. Thought he was a pleasant man who cares about his community. Again, I've never said anything poorly about him or his demeanor. I don't think he is the candidate that can win. And it sucks because he's put a lot of money and a lot of effort, and so is his wife and his family. And unless you've run for office, you have no idea the personal sacrifice that it is. And you're the only one. You're the only one who's responsible for any of it. It's a tough road to walk, and it's a very lonely one. And I understand that. And this is not an indictment of Chad Bianco's personality, his life, or his work. We have to win, and we need a revolutionary spirit to do it. It means we need to do things we've never done before. We need to cross the Rubicon. We need to be the people who stayed up all night to cross a frozen river on Christmas morning and crush our enemies when they would never expect it. That's the people we need to be. So I'm encouraging everybody to get behind one candidate. I think that candidate should be Steve Hilton. I think he has the polling. I think he has the donor base. I think he has the name recognition. And I think he has the experience. Again, I promise you, I know a lot of you are upset. You see me around town. You see me at the events, the luncheons, and you think, Kira, this is really mean. You're really mean. But don't forget, this is my job. I am in the opinion game. This is what I do for a living. I render opinions. But also I'm not in this to make friends. I'm not in this to make friends. You shouldn't be either. Did anyone think we were going to run a Republican primary and not get banged up? Did anyone think that two Republicans were going to run against each other and it wasn't going to get dirty? See, this is what I mean when I say I'm not sure everybody's prepared for what we have to do. I want you to look at I'm going to move on from this one. I want you to look at 2024. The miracle that was. I can't believe how many people have forgotten already. That so many things had to come together all at the same time to make this miraculous victory. Coalitions, people swallowing their pride, people making alliances with others that they wouldn't ever think that they would. We had to do it all to win, but we didn't. We won big. We won with a mandate. That's what we need here in California. That's Steve's golden ticket. The coalition, a broad coalition. Some of you are questioning Steve's coalition and you voted for Trump's. I don't get it. I think that everybody, it's do or die time. It's battle cry. This is the alarm bell I'm ringing until election season. It's war. And a lot of people are acting like, oh, well, we'll just get them next election if we don't do it this time. I don't think so. This is down to the wire for us. And so I think some people need to make some tough choices and swallow some pride. That's what I think. We need to get behind one candidate. Even if you don't like that candidate, you got to choose the best one. Numbers, all the metrics say it's Hilton. All the metrics say it's Hilton. And I would be honest with you if I thought it were any different. I would be. And I would be sad, and I would cry, and I would tell you how, hey, Steve's my friend, but I think we got to go with this other guy. But that's not the case. Some of us are still out here fighting for the California dream. We need you to fight with us. We need you to do the things you thought you would never do. All right, where are we going next? Let me read this tweet before we move on. We're going to take a break, go to our sponsor, and then we're going to talk about this TPUSA. You're going to want to hear this. But I want to read this post. They're not tweets anymore, I guess, from John Gresco, a friend of mine. He's on the Central Committee as well. It says, wake up. Dems have 10.4 million registered voters versus our 5.8. I was going to say 5.4. 5.8. If they split even 50-50, if they just do 50-50 between two candidates, they are looking at the top two spots and we're out in November. All right? Do you understand the math? It don't math. The math don't math. They have over 10 million. We have about 6 million. All they got to do is split 50-50 and they're going to take out both our guys. If Chabianco doesn't drop out, we're getting a Governor Eric Swalwell. All right, let's go to a break. Let's go to a sponsor break and we'll be right back with more. Don't go anywhere. I'm Kira Davis. You're watching The Orange Report. Today's sponsor is 10 Steps to Freedom, a growing patriot's guide to the American Revolution from children's author Amelia Hamilton. This book leads children through 10 key events that made our country free, from the Boston Tea Party to George Washington's inauguration. This rhyming book will help your little ones get excited about American history while learning how to count. It's for ages 5 through 8, and you can find this book at growingpatriots.com or amazon.com. 10 Steps to Freedom, A Growing Patriot's Guide to the American Revolution by Amelia Hamilton. Thank you for sponsoring today's Orange Report. Okay, thank you to Growing Patriots for sponsoring our show. Definitely go buy that book for your family, especially with America 250 coming up. I mean, what a great July 4th gift for your family, for your grandkids. Go check that out. I read my kids all those stories as well. Okay, I want to tell you about a disturbing story that someone reached out to me to share. It's coming out of Capital Unified School District here in South Orange County. That's the school board I ran for in 2022. You guys know I lost that race, but I still have a lot of contacts from inside the school system from when I was running. And so someone contacted me from Capital Valley High School. And she said that she's been observing the TPUSA club, TPUSA Faith Club that was started there. And they've been experiencing some deep harassment. They're not the only ones, but after Charlie's death, a lot of schools across Orange County, they put up memorials, they did special events and programming, and many of them, I won't say most, but many of them were vandalized. You may have seen the story from Madison Minor about, did we cover that here? I don't think we didn't cover that here. but there's a story, I'll see if I can find it, and then I'll have my producer link it in the notes. But there was a story out of, I think is it Villa Park? That high school, they vandalized, like, students, and a teacher on video vandalized the Charlie Kirk Memorial. And then as these TPUSA chapters exploded, really, across the country, but especially here in Orange County, each one was receiving harassing phone calls, harassing emails and social media posts, and it's been nonstop. It's sort of gone under the radar because in the golden age, there's a crisis around every corner, and so we're always our attention span is drifting. But this person who has been involved with the club, an adult who is involved with the Capel Valley Club, sent me a text, and she said, "I'm with the TPUSA club, and the club is continually harassed. Recently, one of the teacher advisors was hit in the neck at the last meeting, and the kid said he Charlie Kirked her. He Charlie Kirked her. Today, the straw on the camel's back broke. Kids wrote all over the posters, and they won't even view the videos of who did it at Capel Valley. Because everybody's surveilled at school, right? But they won't even review the videos of who did it. I'm going public. I want to go public with what my students are dealing with. They protect the kid wearing a tail, but they let this go, and it's been continually happening for months, tearing posters down, and now they're taking it to this." And she shared with me, I'll share with you, she shared me some images of their posters. You can see on some of these posters. Matter of fact, let me pull up the images here. I pulled them up. So there were a couple of posters that TPUSA kids put up. And as you can see, they have marked all over the posters. That's vandalism, by the way. One helpful student wrote, so TPUSA wanted to have a "what is a woman" discussion. I think any conservative and Republican is familiar with this discussion. Charlie had it a lot. It is a very viable and pertinent discussion in this day and age in California, considering A.B. Hernandez, a boy, just won the girls' triple jump by 6 feet. So I think, yeah, this conversation is pretty damn relevant. What does this have to do with America, you effing racist? Approximately 1% of Americans are trans. Okay, again, I never understood this argument. This is the argument they're telling the kids. 1% of America is trans. Yeah, this seems like a very good case for you guys to back the hell off. There's not enough, like, why are we being held then hostage to your stupid minority? It's not an argument, kids, but these kids don't know how to make arguments because they're not teaching critical thinking in schools. They're teaching gender theory, and I'm going to have more proof of that in just a moment. You hang tight. You hang tight. Wow, I miss that country. I need flashbacks to a country where trannies weren't about to debud light commercials. It was a better country back then. Signed, quote, Charlie Kirk. This is at school. This is at high school. And this is for a club that is an approved legal club for the school, has the teacher advisors, has the space to meet, and has the right to meet. So students are, again, I want you to ask yourself, if the LGBT or the Gay Straight Alliance, let's do GSA. Every school's got a GSA. The GSA puts up posters for a meeting for transgender identified students. And a bunch of TPUSA kids go, write curse words all over it. What's happening to them? People, if you don't say something, if you don't stand up for something, you're giving them permission. You saw this person that wrote me said, they won't view the videos. We have the video. They won't even view the videos to discipline the students. However, the school board the Board of Trustees helpfully sent out this notice a couple of weeks ago. It's a single email. A teacher sent this to me. The Board of Trustees desires to provide a safe school environment that allows, this is all it says. It's just one sheet of paper. There's no other comment with it. There's no referencing any incidents. The Board of Trustees desires to provide A safe school environment that allows all kids equal access and opportunities to the district's academic and other educational support programs, services, and activities. The board prohibits at any district school or school activity unlawful discrimination, including discriminatory harassment, intimidation, bullying of any student based on the student's actual or perceived race, color, ancestry, national origin, nationality, ethnicity, ethnic group, identification, age, religion, marital or parental status, pregnancy, physical or mental disability, sex, sexual orientation. I can't even finish reading it. It just goes to don't discriminate. Already the fact that they had to send this tells you everything that's wrong. Everything. They've listed every possible offense you could make against someone, right? Instead of what we used to do, which is like, kids, if you are mean to someone, you're getting punished. That's what we used to be. So simple. Everything was simple. Everything that the left has done in our schools and in our society has complicated everything, made everything harder, made everything worse. They make everything worse. They make everything worse. What's also making things worse? A letter like this from the school board when they have video of the students who vandalized the posters. They know what happened to Charlie Kirk and they send a letter. So I reached out to the school board. I reached out to Representative Judy Balakas, who I know has been contacted about this issue. And I also reached out to the superintendent, Chris Brown. I asked them if they had heard about this incident at Capitol Valley and if they had any response to it. And so far, in the week since I sent that, I have received no response.
Well, just as this show went to publication, we actually did receive a response from the district on our request about this TPUSA story. I did send a request for comment from Trustee Judy Balakas, and I also sent one to Superintendent Chris Brown, and they had the Assistant Superintendent Greg Merwin respond with the following. Dear Mrs. Davis, Superintendent Brown and Trustee Balakas shared your email with me so that I may assist with answering your questions. Thank you for reaching out. First, I can assure you that we take these matters very seriously as a district. Capitol Valley High School site administrators are following up on every allegation that is reported to them, and they are also meeting with leaders from several different student groups to reiterate appropriate interactions and expectations. When I asked him what measures has the board or district taken to punish students who violate our very public anti-bullying policies and protect the club members and staff, Merwin says, first, as I previously mentioned, site administration is investigating every allegation that is reported to them. Then, based on their findings of their investigation, students are being assigned the appropriate level of discipline. As per our district's high school disciplinary policies and procedures handbook, there are 8 levels of disciplinary interventions that may be assigned. The handbook and other policies related to the student conduct are related here on the website. I asked, does the district take a position on bullying based on faith? He replied, yes, the district takes a strong position against all types of bullying, including based on religious beliefs. Capistrano Unified School District is committed to creating a safe and supportive environment for all of our students. Our district's board policy on bullying clearly states no individual or group of students shall, through physical, written, verbal, or other means, harass, threaten, intimidate, or bully students. Bullying may include, but is not limited to, actions based on actual or perceived race, ethnicity, religion, immigration status, religious belief, customs, gender, weight, health, or sexuality, or any other verbal, written, or physical conduct that causes or threatens to cause violence, bodily harm, or substantial disruption. I asked, how does the district intend to protect students and teachers who engage in TPUSA activities? Merwin responded, the district policies and procedures outlined are used to manage incidents of bullying for all CUSD students and will continue to be implemented in the future. Thank you again for sharing your questions and concerns. You can let me know in the comments if that was an acceptable response.
But I want to remind everybody that this is not a joke. There's also a petition going around. They're circulating a petition to get rid of the TPUSA club at school. This anonymous helper at the TPUSA, this is the only identifier I can give, this anonymous helper said this has been continuously happening for months. It's not a one-off, it's continuous. And if we're spouting non-discrimination, it's got to be across the board. If you don't stand up and say no, if you don't have a zero tolerance, we supposedly have zero tolerance in Orange County Public Schools. But that's just, it's a facade. It's not real. The same way that when our teachers tell us, our administrators tell us we're here for your kids, we care about your kids, and then they keep secrets. They keep secrets from us, the parents. They encourage the kids to keep secrets from us. They lie to us. Something is deeply wrong in our public schools, and we elected a conservative board. We shouldn't really be having these issues. There's no way that I should be sitting here talking to you about threats against a TPUSA chapter of school with a conservative school board. Like, it just should not be happening. It doesn't make any sense. You need to reach out to your school board reps. There's a school board meeting. I'm not sure if we're going to get this show to you in time, but on Wednesday the 25th at Capitol Unified, there's a school board meeting there. But go to the next one or just write. All of these kids, all of these threats that these kids are making, all talking about discrimination. I haven't even gotten to the best part. There's a teacher who was very offended by the TPUSA group being in the school. And so she decided to write a letter. So after the TPUSA club got harassed, after those advisors and teachers that helped those students got attacked, after students, I've heard, have been invading their discussions and causing chaos and threatening people online. After all of that, a teacher at Capitol Valley, now somebody forwarded me this email, so I don't have any names. A teacher wrote this email. In light of Friday's TPUSA Club America debate on the topic, what is a woman, and the recent email from John regarding the mandatory 1-hour LGBTQ slide presentation that some of you may have skipped or not even viewed yet. Oh my God, you guys didn't watch the 1-hour LGBTQ slide presentation that you have to take at school? It's like an SNL sketch. It's like a comedy sketch. You guys didn't watch a 1 hour? What could you possibly have to say about gay people for 1 hour? You don't even teach biology, the real biology of men and women for 1 hour in school. Do you even spend an hour on the Constitution in school? Are you getting the picture? You wonder why we're graduating dumb kids, because that's who's teaching them. This teacher actually had the nerve to write a letter to everybody in the school complaining how you guys did not go to your mandatory LGBTQ training 1 hour. How are you going to know? I guess John didn't resend the email. I think it's important that every staff member be educated about the biology of sex and the concept of gender. So do I. Gender's fake. Education done. 4 interesting facts I summarized for you. They're not interesting. Chromosomes. Not every human is XX or XY. Some people have different combinations such as XXXY or XYY. Ovaries and testes and ovotestes. Not everyone has 2 ovaries or 2 testes. Gonads, which have different types of tissues. Others have ovotestes. Genital appearance varies. Some people have genitals that are ambiguous at birth. Enlarged clitoris or micro penis. Oh, don't get mad at me for this language. Don't get mad at me. This is a teacher in your kid's school. How many people are intersex? Estimates vary, but one landmark study said about 1 in 50 live births present some variation in chromosome. Again, this is just, AI pulled some stuff for her. I'm not going to bore you with all the boring details that no single person ever in the history of humanity, and certainly not in the history of American public school education, has ever worried about or needed to worry about. Your kids need to know the functions of the body. That's it. Medical and scientific facts about biological sex. Biological sex is a label assigned by a medical professional at birth. Again, this is a teacher. This is a teacher who sent this letter out to the entire school and then scolded them for not going to the 1 hour LGBTQ presentation. This is a teacher. She teaches your children. And she just told all the other teachers that biological sex is something that's assigned at birth. And she said it as if it were just true. She sent a letter to other educated professionals, other educational professionals, saying, that biological sex is assigned at birth. This should be disqualifying. It should absolutely be disqualifying. Chromosomal and genetic factors matter. Primary sex characteristics, here are some of those. It's not uncommon for individuals to have atypical combinations of chromosomes. This is like 1,500 words. Here's the definition of sex. Here's the definition of gender. 1,500 words in response to a TPUSA meeting. A school club. It's vile, and we should be scared of these people. And that is what someone texted me from that school. Someone texted me from Capo Valley, an adult, and said, I am filing a police report because I'm scared for my life. And if you think that's hyperbole, think about where it started with Charlie. When Charlie first started, all he was doing was talking, right? And he got called all kinds of names, and people called him the worst Nazi, Hitler, everything. And it ended with Charlie Kirk dying. Those kids that ruined that display in Villa Park are the kids that vandalized the posters, the TPUSA posters, the kids that burst into the TPUSA rooms when they're trying to have their discussions and their events. Those aren't the kids in danger. They are the danger. They are the threat. And we know that because out of all the people in this situation, only one person is dead, and it's Charlie. Charlie's dead. So shame on you, shame on all of you, shame on Superintendent Chris Brown, shame on the Capistrano Unified School District School Board for not taking this seriously. Shame on all of you. You should be deeply ashamed. This is very serious. And every violent incident we have seen in this country starts with, well, yeah, he was on our radar. We did get reports of him. I know Capistrano Unified Board of Trustees is trying really hard to avoid controversy. They're doing a terrible job of it, by the way. Judy Balakas she's going to have to resign because of her controversy that still hasn't really been that publicly addressed. I think that was, the whole thing was ridiculous. But again, they handled it so horribly, it blew up into something it didn't need to be. This is what should be, this should be at the top of their agenda every month until it gets fixed. Lisa Davis should be down there at Capo Valley herself. Sitting in those TPUSA meetings, people die over this stuff. I can't believe that any adult is not taking this seriously. And all the trustee members were at Charlie's memorial. I saw you. All the conservative members were at Charlie's memorial. You were there. I saw you. You're going to pretend that didn't happen? This is very serious. This is so serious that I actually filed a report with the FBI on behalf of the TPUSA Club at Capo Valley. I filed a report as the host of Orange Report. We'll see what comes of it. I've been assured that there are some people filing police reports, but if you can't depend on your principal, assistant principal, county administrators, or your board of trustees to help you when you're under threat, in one of the scariest political eras of our time, if you can't depend on them, what is the point of public school? What is the point of being a public school teacher? This whole apparatus is supposed to be there to help people. I think it's a disgrace. I think it's shocking to me. And if it's shocking to you, reach out to your school board trustee. Reach out to Capo Valley School. Reach out to the Capo Unified School District Superintendent Chris Brown and ask, what are they doing to discipline the kids who are vandalizing and threatening TPUSA kids? And why haven't they done anything until now? Charlie Kirk is dead. All right. Speaking of justice and discipline and changing things. One of the things I've been saying forever is that all we're doing here in Orange County is we're just putting out fires. We're just putting out fires. We're not solving anything. We're not fire chiefs. We're just the firefighters. And every time we put out a fire, they got us running over here and running over there. That's why I'm telling you, we have to do something different. We've got to do the unexpected and unite early behind one solid candidate and put all our money and all our influence behind that person. because they've got us on our heels all the time. All we are ever doing is going battle to battle. It's exhausting. I know you're tired. I'm tired. I know a lot of you are out there getting signatures for the Prop 13 battle, and you know what? That's not going great. It's not going great because we don't have enough old people here. We don't have enough old people. That's just the long and the short of it to save it. And it's not going anywhere, but it's getting gutted and it's continuing. So, we need to have measures like Prop 5 to prop it up. And, but we can't recruit anybody because the young people in our state have no investment here. Those of you who are homeowners, the only investment your kids have is what you're going to leave them when you die. And I'm sorry, but waiting for your parents to die is not a productive or revolutionary strategy. It's not the strategy for success. You know what I mean? Or prosperity. Just waiting for your parents to die. So we have to do more than just putting out fires. We've got to go to the fuel source. This is why this election cycle is so important. So one race that's going to be hugely important, I know the governor's race is very important, but that's one man and he doesn't really have control over legislature, stuff like that. But one office that is very important that could be influential is the Attorney General's office. A lot of people don't know about it. I think Orange County residents are somewhat more informed about the office than other people maybe across the state. But Attorney General is one of the most important offices in Sacramento. That is the office that, of course, prosecutes crime and fraud, which we have a lot of. So we need somebody who's going to be willing to go after the fraud. Our current AG, Rob Bonta, doesn't go after fraud. He goes after parents, right? He's suing the parents for this, that, and the other. What else? Oh, ballot. They write the ballot measures. I think that's a huge one because the gas tax battle, we lost that not because people wanted to vote for it. No one wanted to vote for it. It's because they monkeyed with the language and it made your yes vote look like a no. It made your no look like a yes. They do that on purpose. So if you have a solid AG, then he can rewrite. Or he can not rewrite, but he can write the ballot measures in a way that makes sense. It doesn't have to be partisan. It just has to be real. So it's a really important office, and we're really lucky that we have Michael Gates from right here in Orange County, a hometown boy from Huntington Beach, running. And I've had an opportunity, over the last 2 weeks, I think 4 or 5 times now, to interview him. I don't know why it is. My other job, I'm a national broadcaster, and he just happens to show up everywhere that I happen to be hosting. But I think that's what's really cool about him, is I've never seen a candidate for California AG, or really any office, a Republican candidate, get this much national attention. So I think Michael Gates is running something very special. He's running a very special campaign. I've been very impressed with what I've heard from him so far and what his plans are. And we had the opportunity to catch up with him at our club luncheon, that's Southern California Area Republican Women, President Judy Joseph. We had the opportunity to catch up with him at our luncheon, and he granted us an interview at the Voco Hotel. Thank you to the Voco in Laguna Hills for accommodating us. And I want to bring that interview to you right now, and I want you to listen, and I want you to pay attention, and I want you to share it. Because a lot of people don't know what this office is, which means it's actually ripe for the steal, right? It means they're not going to have a whole lot of voters for this office. They're going to depend on the union votes because they just put out the memo and then all the union members go. But we can beat that. We can beat that with a guy with high enough name recognition. So I hope you enjoy this interview with Michael Gates. Write me and let me know what you think of him. Well, everybody, we are here at the beautiful Voco Hotel in Laguna Hills, and we are with our candidate for California Attorney General, Michael Gates. He is the former city attorney for Huntington Beach, and he just came back to us from the DOJ. He is here giving a speech today, and we were lucky enough to catch up with him and ask him a few questions. Thank you for taking some time for us.
Always a pleasure.
Well, how is the campaign trail going out there? It looks pretty intense.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we've actually only been public for about 4 weeks. We've raised over $250,000. We've added thousands, I think actually tens of thousands to social media. We have over or near 1,000 individual donors to the campaign. And I have a lot of requests for speaking engagements, TV interviews. So I think we've been blessed. In fact, I was just on the phone with my consultant saying, I am so blessed to have so many requests for interview, requests for speaking opportunities. So it's pretty amazing. And all I'm asking the folks out there to do is to help me make this campaign go viral, especially on social media. So if you see something you like, please share it. If you see something that from the campaign that you're interested in, please share it. We want this campaign to go viral on social media because that's frankly really the best way to reach so many people. So yeah, it's just been fantastic.
Well, what's been one of your coolest stops so far? I even interviewed you on the Dr. Drew show, which that's cool for me to be able to fill in for Dr. Drew. But then I got to interview Michael. That's a pretty cool stop. Me aside, my hosting abilities aside, what's one of the cooler stops you've made so far?
Okay, so Kira aside. I was just, we just taped Adam Carolla show yesterday with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. And that was a lot of fun. It was about a 47-minute tape. So I'm not sure what the final product will be when it drops, but that was a lot of fun. But I've done a lot of good TV. I was on the Trace Gallagher show on Friday night a few weeks ago. I've done a lot of local news. Marla Tellez with Fox 11. I was on with Micah Ullman, KTLA, a couple weeks before.
This is a lot of press, Mike. I think this is why I asked this question, because this is a lot of press. And normally we don't see an attorney general, a Republican attorney general, get this type of press attention. And I think that's very interesting. What do you attribute that to? Is it the golden ticket? I mean, that's certainly helpful. Is it the state of mind that Californians are in right now?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think the golden ticket is a fantastic phenomenon, which we can talk about. But frankly, it's that everyday Californians are fed up. And I believe that. That's not a talking point. Like through and through, Democrats, independents, and Republicans alike are just like, look, California is broken. They are fed up. And in addition to the high gas prices and the high taxes and the high crime rates and the high homelessness and a lot of the dysfunction that we're forced to live with every day, now we're hearing about all of the fraud that was committed related to taxpayer money. So we're talking like $250 billion of hard-earned taxpayer money lost by Sacramento to waste, fraud, and abuse. That's just the cherry on the top, right? Like that's the cherry on the cake. Like people are just like, look, okay, finally, like enough is enough. So I come along and I say, look, we have made so much positive change in Huntington Beach. We've lowered crime by double digits. I started a criminal prosecutor program at the city level and we attacked crime and lowered it by double digits. We reduced homeless rates in Huntington Beach by over 60% through enforcement. We fought for parents' rights in Huntington Beach. We fought a lot of the overreaching mandates coming out of Sacramento. So when people hear that out of this campaign, they're like, yeah, we want more of that. Like, that's what we need. And so even the news outlets are like, this is very intriguing. It's very interesting. We want to talk to this guy. I'm on Fox 11 again tonight talking about, I've invited Attorney General Rob Bonta to a series of public debates because he has a lot to answer for. There's a lot broken in California, and it all happened on his watch. And so I got invited to come back on Fox 11 with Marla Tellez tonight just to talk about a lot of these issues.
Has he accepted your request
so Marla Tellez reached out to the campaign of Attorney General Rob Bonta's campaign to see what the response is. I'll find out what it is tonight.
Okay, I bet I know what it is, but maybe it's 2026. It's a year of surprises.
Yeah.
Be surprised. Yeah. Well, no, I'm glad you brought this up though, because one of the things that is really important to parents like me, especially here in a place like Orange County, is Title IX, the rights of girls in sports. You're a dad. I'm a parent. I ran for school board because this was such an important issue. And Bonta has been a thorn in the side, and that's putting it lightly, that's putting it mildly, of parents, particularly here in this region. I'm sure you agree with me, being from Huntington Beach, that Sacramento really has it in for South Orange County especially. But But what can you do as a California AG? You get that office. What can you do for parents like me to protect my daughter in sports, to protect our girls from having to make these terrible choices, just going to the bathroom every day?
There are a lot of easy solutions to these problems. When I'm in office on day one, we're going to be Title IX compliant on day one. I'm literally going to be sending a letter to every school board and every education system, including all the sports systems throughout the state of California, on what it means to be Title IX compliant. One of the big planks in my campaign is I will protect the most vulnerable in our society. I will, on day one, be protecting our young girls and our young women. No longer will they be threatened by a system that forces men into their locker rooms, into their sports. That is going to end. We're also going to be ending these lawsuits that our current Attorney General Rob Bonta has filed against hospitals and medical facilities, including, believe it or not, a children's hospital, because those facilities refused to perform trans surgeries on minors. Those lawsuits will end, and I'm going to go further than that. On day one, I will be prosecuting every doctor, hospital, or medical provider that continues to mutilate our children. So I am not only going to dismiss those lawsuits that shouldn't have been filed in the first place, but I'm going to go after those who mutilate our children. When I'm the Attorney General, on day one, I promise you, we are going to protect our children.
This is a big issue because the feds have already declared, you need to be Title IX compliant for your federal funds. Not only that, but we're seeing lawsuits bubble up. We saw that incredible case where a young victim was awarded $2 million for her gender reassignment stuff. So this is important for us, even if no matter what side of this issue you land on, because we're already in a budget deficit, thanks Gavin Newsom. We could end up in a lot more trouble getting sued by the feds for not complying.
Yeah, we're going to comply with all federal laws. Title IX is a perfect example, but we're going to be compliant with the Second Amendment. We're going to be compliant with federal immigration law. We're going to be compliant on day one with all of these. It is a money issue, but it's also, just about bringing common sense back and honoring and respecting the rule of law. And when California returns to an orderly society, we're going to prosper. We're no longer going to have businesses leaving the state. We're no longer going to have residents leaving. We have a resident leaving the state every minute and 44 seconds. That's the average. That's crazy. California is the greatest state in the nation, and we are one of the greatest, places to live in the world. And so to have this mass exodus because California is so broken, we're going to fix that, and we're going to protect the most vulnerable in our society. And there's a whole host of other things. We're going to reduce homelessness, and we're going to, like I said, become, compliant with all federal laws and state laws, even the elections laws. We're going to, on day one, be compliant with all elections laws, both state and federal. And currently, we're not. Just as a quick example, the federal elections laws literally require that states verify the eligibility of voters, that they affirmatively verify the eligibility of voters. What do we have in California? Touch screens at the DMV where people can just check boxes, and many people accidentally register to vote because they checked the wrong box. That's not affirmatively verifying the eligibility of voters. So when I'm Attorney General on day one, we are going to be compliant with that federal law as well as many other elections laws.
So no dogs voting in Michael Gates's
no dogs voting. She's referring to the fact that there was a pet. A pet was registered to vote for 6 years and did vote in 2 cycles.
Yeah, he voted twice.
Yeah. So no, we're gonna bring. It's all about common sense, and frankly, at the end of the day, I have a reputation of fighting for the folks in Huntington Beach. That was my reputation. I fought every day, long and hard, to defend the city from the nonsense coming out of Sacramento, but also to stand up for our residents, including filing suit against Sacramento to protect parents' rights. I filed that lawsuit. And so that's what it's about, fighting. And when I get to Sacramento, I want to return California to everyday Californians, not have this complete disconnect. Our Sacramento elites are completely tone deaf. They're completely out of touch. We've got Bonta suing hospitals, Attorney General Rob Bonta suing hospitals for not performing trans surgeries on minors when everyday residents are dealing with high crime rates. None of this is making any sense to most Californians, which is why I think I'm getting a lot of support with my campaign.
One last question.
Yeah.
you win the office of AG, you get there, and surprise, surprise, for 24 hours only, you get to be the king of California, and you can do anything. You can strike a law, you can make a law, you can banish anybody. If you want to throw out the Kardashians, you can do that. For instance, when I become Queen of California, I will make it illegal, punishable by arrest, to not return your shopping cart to the corrals.
Yeah.
So you've got 24 hours. You can do one thing with no consequences. What are you doing for California?
I'm protecting our children from child mutilation, from, like I said, the system threatening them or forcing girls to share locker rooms with boys and young men, and even sports fields and swimming pools. We're going to protect our young girls, but also human trafficking. There's a lot of children, our youth, being trafficked, and so we're going to put an end to that. So, to your point, if I could be an AG for one day and get something accomplished, it's to protect our youth in California in those three ways. That's so important to me. It complies with the law, it's legally compliant, but it's also a moral issue. And we have to do more in California to protect our youth, our most vulnerable. So that would probably be my top priority. Although don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other top priorities, whether it's complying with the Second Amendment, complying with, elections laws, making sure that Sacramento's not overreaching into local authorities and their decision making over housing and the environment. And there's a whole host of issues, but that's probably number one.
Okay, and then I would like to just officially put in my lobby for the shopping cart thing.
Okay,
that's
fair enough.
That's important.
Fair
You'll
enough.
have my vote, I promise. I'll put a sign in my yard for that one.
Thank you.
No, thank you so much for joining us, for taking a few moments for us.
My pleasure.
Before I let you go, just look at the camera and tell everybody where they can go to support your campaign.
Oh, thank you so much. It's gates4ag.com. That's Gates, the number 4ag.com. That's my website. If you want to follow me on social media and help me go viral, go to X, and that's Michael Gates ESQ. So Michael Gates ESQ on X, and then michael.e.gates on Instagram. michael.e.gates on Instagram. And just pick any video or any post and share it and help make it go viral. Tell all of your friends and followers to follow my campaign as well. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you to Michael Gates, and we certainly wish you the best out there. He's running on the golden ticket, which is really great. But the other thing I want to note about Gates is that even if he moves forward without the golden ticket, he's still very effective. That he doesn't need, I guess what I'm saying, he doesn't need the whole team to go with him. So if you are, I know we talked about the split between Chad and Steve, but I think if you are a Chad person and you don't feel comfortable voting for Steve, you can still definitely vote for Michael, because I think he'll be effective either way, no matter who the governor is. So good luck out there, sir. Godspeed. Okay, well, that's it for this week's Orange Report. We've got a banger of a show we're working on. I mean, it's election season, so stories are starting to bubble up. Candidates are starting to get out there, and there are some Democrat candidates who, have been operating invisibly up until now, and they just thought nobody was paying attention to them, and it turns out, there's actually some people paying attention here. So we've been doing a little digging around, and we're going to bring you some stories in the upcoming weeks. I want to encourage you to host a candidate, a Republican candidate. We're Republicans on this show. Host a Republican candidate in your home for a meet and greet or a fundraiser. Don't be intimidated by it. A meet and greet can be 5 people. Trust me, I have run for office, and I promise you, you're grateful for those 5 people. You're not going, all they got was 5 people. You're happy for them. You're not judging it. So if you have your bunco club. Why don't you invite a local candidate to your bunco night? Put a glass of wine in his hand. Let him tell you about school board or water board or whatever it is he's running for. Give him the opportunity to tell the community who he is, because a lot of these offices are won just on name recognition alone. So you just hosting an event in your home can change the trajectory of someone's race. So I'm challenging every Orange County Republican to host an event in your home. And if you don't have a home, again, that's suitable for a big event, host a meet and greet. on your front porch. If you don't want people to come into the house, host it on the front porch or in your backyard. Trust me, the candidates are going to be flexible and they're going to be so appreciative. Everybody's in this battle. We're all in this together. It's not just a platitude. The odds are stacked against us, but we can beat it if we get smart and we get unified. All right, well, that is it for the show this week. Before we leave, though, as a tribute to Olympic and Go U.S. Hockey, men's and women's team, God bless America, bringing home gold for the good old Stars and Stripes. We are so proud of our American hockey players out there, so thrilled. And we've also had some curling success. I'm a big fan of curling, and the U.S. team has been doing amazing there. And in light of that, and to honor our Olympians, the Irvine Police Department created a helpful Olympic-themed video to remind people to drive safe and drive sober.
Hey! Hard! Hey! Hard! Hard!
These are not the type of medals you want to win. Drive sober or get pulled over.
That was great. Thanks, guys. I really appreciated that. And I wonder who in the Irvine Police Department is a big fan of curling, because they got it. They got it down. Thank you so much, guys, for all the work you do out there. Of course, as always, we support our law enforcement here on the Orange Report. I'm Kira Davis. Don't forget to get to a meeting this week. Get to a school board meeting. Get to a city council meeting. Get to a supervisor's meeting. Pick one meeting this month that you've never been to in your local government and go. Just one. It's a few hours of your life, a few hours. Pick one and go. But we're all in this together, and nothing is going to change unless we change it. There is no cavalry coming for us, Orange County. It's you. I'm Kira Davis. This is the Orange Report. Until we see each other again, bring on the sunshine.